Welcome, friends, to another exciting episode of A VGM Journey, and I'm your host, The Messenger. The track that we're playing in this week's show is the title screen from Battletoads and Double Dragon, and that was composed by David Wise. We've got a real fun show for you guys this week, and I was thinking that after a few episodes of crazy celebrations and lots of talking and music, I think that now's a good time to dial it back down and just play some really cool tracks. And we might as well just kick it off with our next track, and that's going to be the title theme from NHL Hockey, and that was composed by Rob Hubbard. That rocking track that you just listened to, that was the title theme from NHL Hockey, and that was composed by Rob Hubbard. I feel as though right now was a good time to play something from an NHL game with the Stanley Cup final going on right now. And even if it wasn't going on, I still think this was a pretty amazing track to play, and I'm sure that you guys are totally rocking out to it. And it's really crazy to think that these licensed sports games, back in the day, they have these crazy original soundtracks, and a lot of them were quite good. And then you look at the sports games of today, and for the most part, it's just licensed music. It's whatever's the hot thing at that time. And this was the first game in EA Sports NHL series, and I feel as though they started off with a bang. It was a really good start for them, and the crazy thing was that just a couple years later, the legendary NHL 94 came out, and that was able to build on the foundation that this game started and improve the gameplay even better. And even though that game has really good music, I actually like the soundtrack to this game a lot better. And it's mainly because of the twangy, melt-your-face Rob Hubbard sound. So it's really good. And what's funny is that I believe I've played every single track from that game on the show. So it wasn't a very big soundtrack. There's only just a handful of songs, but they're all really good. I think we should move on to something a little different, but still fun. And this is coming from Super Adventure Island. The track is Hop Step and Jazzy Beats, and this was composed by Yuzo Koshiro. That track that you just listened to, that was Hop Step and Jazzy Beats from the game Super Adventure Island, and that was composed by Yuzo Koshiro. That is such a fun track. And what was always funny to me is that the Super Nintendo, the sound hardware for the music is based off of samples. And in this track and a couple other tracks on the Super Adventure Island soundtrack is that Yuzo Koshiro has this sample of Lynn Collins' Think, and I'm talking specifically the... And I know it's not the first time that there's a sample of popular music sampled in a VGM track, but I always thought this just stood out to me, and that's mainly just because of how dancey the soundtrack is, and Yuzo Koshiro really knew how to bring the heat. I think this is a good time to bring back the segment Then and Now. And what is Then and Now? It is a segment where I play two songs that are the exact same, but it's the original version of the song and it's cover / arrangement from the latest game in whatever series that I picked that track from. And this time it's going to be on the track Road to the Striker Cup from Mario Strikers Charged, and also Mario Strikers Battle League. This was composed and arranged by Chad York and Darren Radtke. Those two tracks that you just listened to, they were Road to the Striker Cup from both Mario Strikers Charged and Mario Strikers Battle League, and they were composed and arranged by Chad York and Darren Radtke. I love this so much. I think both versions are really good. And I also feel as though they both get you pretty pumped up. And Carly, my fiance, and I, we kind of disagreed on what version we prefer. She prefers the original with its horns, and I prefer the Battle League version with its more badass rocking tones. And I'm going to give the original some credit, though. It was a strong track on its own. And I also get the more of a sports vibe from it with its horns. I mean, imagine that you're watching whatever game it is that you're watching, and you're watching it on ESPN or whatever, and they play in with this track. You would think it's just normal sports broadcasting music, and it gets you pumped up. But this Battle League version, though, man, I was really impressed. And I feel as though the production side of it, I think, was improved. So one thing I don't like about the original is that it sounds very condensed, might be the right word. It just sounds a little more muted to me. Like, they really, I think it's more of a production issue than a instrument performing issue. And it's not a problem with whatever rip that I got, too. So it's like this everywhere. I do want to hear what version you guys like. I feel as though most of you are going to probably prefer the original, but I'm sure there's a few of you that really like this Battle League version, so let me know. And I think I want to keep the face-melting train going and go with this track from Dusk. It's called Erebus Reaction, or maybe it's Erebus Reaction. And this was composed by Andrew Hulshult. That track that you just heard, that was Erebus Reaction from the game Dusk. And that was composed by Andrew Hulshult. And that's going to just about do it for the show this week. If you like what you've been listening to, have your friends check out the show on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, whatever podcatching service that you can think of. I'm more than likely going to be on there. You can email the show at vgmjourney@yahoo.com, and you could also check us out on Twitter at vgmjourney. We're going to play things out with one more track, and it's a bit of a lengthy one, but it's really good. And that is the staff roll from Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, and that was composed by Koji Kondo. Have a good week, everyone.